This is a robot simulator, all written in JavaScript and React. It's got a little simulator you can play with the arrow keys. You can see that I can use the arrow keys to move it around. You can tell it to go to a specific position. It will animate to that position. I can turn animation off. I can rotate the different Euler angles, all sorts of different things. It will change all the inputs on the left side of the screen. If you scroll down, I can shut off the main grid. I can show on all the joint grids. I can hide the robot. I can tell it to go to the 0 position, and then I can see the kinematics diagram if I were to hide the robot and turn on the joint grids and hide that main grid. You can see this is the kinematics of the robot. All that aside, the goal is to also get this thing integrated and connected to the Anon robot. So as you can see at the top left of the screen, I have some disabled buttons here. If I were to go to this back end here and start up the back end itself, and then also start up the robot over here. Give me a second. So I just started up the robot. The robot is running on a Raspberry Pi, so there's a little server running on that Raspberry Pi. It's all wireless. And when I start that up and go back here and I refresh this, you can see that I now have an option to connect to a robot. If I go ahead and click on Robot 1, you can see we're now connected, and we have some information on the right telling us about every single position of the joints individually. If I were to enable this robot and go ahead and hit the home button, it would run a homing sequence. Right now all of the motors are moving. I don't actually have the robot yet, so it's just spinning 6 motors at the moment. I can use this button as a e-stop to e-stop it from the UI interface itself. Another cool thing, if I enable this and I go ahead and drag this joint 0, that actually moved the simulator on here, and it's also now moving joint 0 on the box back there. If I click on home, it will home that joint. If I click on this center icon, it will center that specific joint. In addition to having this view, you can also go to an endpoint/motor, which I'll add a nav eventually for this, and I can actually connect to a specific robot, connect to joint 0, and I can actually zero out that motor, tell it to go to 20 degrees. It's moving that. You can see the encoder updates below. It just moved to 20 degrees. I can enable and disable specific motors, so this is a good place for you to debug that stuff. So all in all, that's what I've got working so far. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll keep you guys up to date as I progress further.